Elizabeth. Only 30 minutes left before the start of the orientation, but I couldn't find the pavilion. When my dad told me he was sending me to boarding school for college, I did not expect it to be Paradise Coast Academy. There were more than 5 buildings inside the campus, excluding our dormitory. I had been to 3 buildings already, but I still could not find the pavilion. It would be helpful if I had a map of the place. But to my dismay, that was too much to ask for. Ouch! I said as someone bumped into me. As I rubbed my shoulder, I looked up to see a tall, handsome guy staring back at me. He was tall, with a square jaw like Superman, and his hair a messy short blowout with tapered sides. As much as I wanted to linger and get to know this stranger, I needed to move along since I only had 20 minutes left. I am sorry. I am kind of lost. Could you clearly? You are lost, the guy said with a ghost of a smile. Aren't you supposed to be in heaven with the other angels? A blush crept on my face. He seemed like the type of guy who flirted with lots of girls. Could you tell me how to get to the pavilion? I am a freshman, and we have an orientation in 19 minutes, I said, looking at my wristwatch. The smile disappeared from the guy's lips, and he turned serious again. Do you know the main building? He asked. The one with the park in front of it? I asked. Yes, that's the one. Walked past that. The pavilion is the building next to it, the one with the field in front, he said. Thank you so much, I said before running towards the pavilion. I was panting when I arrived. I still had 15 minutes left before the orientation starts. In my rush to get inside, it never occurred to me that the place was too quiet. When I burst through the door, I was stunned. This was not a pavilion. It's a chapel. I hurriedly left to look for the correct building once again. On my way out, I spotted the angels by the doorway. Aren't you supposed to be in heaven with the other angels? The guy's words suddenly came back to me, and I cursed internally. If I ever saw him again, I would show him why an angel like me was not in heaven. I could not have been more relieved when I saw a woman, probably in her 40s, when I stepped out of the chapel. She looked like a professor or something, so I approached her. Excuse me. May I ask where the pavilion is? I asked without preamble. A freshman? The woman said with a smile, and I nodded. The pavilion is right beside the cafeteria. The cafeteria is the building in front of the clinic, right? I asked to make sure. Yes. Just follow the sidewalk, and you would find the pavilion, she said. Thank you so much, I said before running. I only had 9 minutes left before the orientation, but I took a moment to catch my breath and look around. I realized that the building where I bumped into the handsome guy was right beside the pavilion. That jerk. I couldn't help but mutter as I made my way inside the pavilion. The moment I entered the building, I could already see other students milling around, looking for the entrance to the orientation room. It's a good thing that there were signs in the hallway to guide us. The orientation room looked like a stadium from the inside. Although, we only occupied the first and second rows of the courtside seats. As I looked for one that's empty, I spotted the guy I bumped into earlier. He was leaning against the wall, looking at me with a mischievous smile on his face. "Everyone, please take a seat." A woman's voice came through the speaker. I averted my eyes from the guy and took a seat in the second row. Within seconds, the guy sat beside me, and I clenched my fist. "Aren't you lost, Angel?" he said as he made himself comfortable. "You jerk," I whispered. "I was only showing you the way home." He smiled, but the glint in his eyes was nothing but malice. "Aren't you lost too?" I asked with a raised eyebrow. His laugh surprised me. He leaned in closer once he was done, and I instinctively scooted back. I didn't know that angels could look savage. "Though it looks cute on you, Angel." He smiled. "Stop calling me Angel," I hissed. "I prefer Angel over Princess." He beamed. "But, you choose," he added. I glared at him. However, as he held my gaze with a grin, I could see up close how handsome he was. I knew I should be angry with him, but I was pretty sure that lots of girls would kill to have his attention once school starts. Honestly, I was not sure if this was a blessing or a curse. Something told me that this wouldn't be the last that I would be seeing him. The thought didn't sound so bad in my head. The guy grinned wider and leaned in close enough that his lips were near to mine. "You are only allowed to stare, but don't fall in love with me, Angel. It would not end well, I am telling you," he whispered, and I blushed. A smile was still on his lips as he sat straighter in his seat, giving me a sidelong glance. I couldn't be more glad when the orientation started. However, I was only half listening since my mind kept whirling back to his words, "Don't fall in love with me, Angel." I wished we were not taking the same major, or else this would really not end well.